Welcome back to Two Trees in a Pod with Alysa and Sam, where we talk about all things life and relationships and tie it back to faith. I'm Alysa.
And I'm Sam.
And today we are excited to talk to you about serving others. Let's get into it. Welcome back, friends, to Two Trees in a Pod, and happy Tuesday. How are we feeling?
We are feeling fantastic. It is another week in paradise. Alyssa, how was your weekend?
Very, very busy. We flew to Maryland and flew back in the span of less than 48 hours, which was chill. Got home late the other night and just kind of recovered today. Tried to do some work from home. Wasn't super successful at it. But I did finally set up a new version of our prayer wall, which was cool. I went to Target and bought some bulletin boards and hung them up on this blank wall in our room. And yeah, that was fun. That was a little creative project for me today. So, how about you, Sam? How are you doing?
Doing well. Came home and the home looked a little more homey.
Aww.
So, that was nice. This is probably the first episode in a while where we both seem to have some pretty good energy going on without feeling too asleep. So, buckle up. This should be fun.
Oh boy, what do you mean buckle up? What type of energy do you have?
Awake energy.
Well, let's calm it down and start with a verse. I think that would be nice. What do you think?
That'll probably set the tone a little better.
Yeah. So today's episode, we wanted to chat about serving others and what that looks like in application and the importance of it from like a kingdom mindset. So let's start with Matthew 25:35 through 40. For I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you welcomed me. I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me. I was in prison and you came to me. Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. Good one, right?
That's a strong verse.
That's a bar from Christ himself. So, what does it mean to serve others? What does it look like? Are we talking about, like, going to church on Sunday and working at the coffee bar, or what else do people do at church? Working in the kids' room, or
people greeting, holding doors.
Holding doors. Those are forms of service. But as followers of Christ, we want that service to extend outside of church. The people you're serving within the church, while those are very important things to be doing, most people walking into a church already know God, or at least have some sort of idea of what it's like to be loved by Jesus. And the importance of service is to love others like Christ, to show them Christ, if that makes sense.
That does make sense.
You picking up what I'm putting down?
I am. And that service, it can be very direct of, oh, I'm doing this for somebody. This is an act of service. And that's probably the easy way to interpret it. But service can be a whole lot of other things than just doing a task or helping with a chore or helping someone out. It can be supporting someone through maybe an emotional time of need. Maybe they have something going on, and just a conversation. Conversation can be an act of service. Something you're doing, something, maybe just sharing something throughout your day. Like if someone's going through a tough day and sharing a verse and just taking some time aside to talk. That's an act of service. So it's not necessarily all physical tasks or things, but something where you're just, it doesn't sound like it is of any benefit to you, but just being beneficial to others when there's not really something to gain in this world. There is a lot to gain for eternity.
That's so true, because a lot of times when we're serving others, we're sacrificing resources, time, emotional energy, physical energy. Like, service costs something, and that's why it is a fruit of agape love, because it's sacrificial love, and being able to serve with your heart in the right place is like the closest we can get to being like Christ on this earth, especially when you're not serving somebody who it's easy to serve. Like, this episode idea came from how much Sam has been serving me lately, and I kind of wanted to do a hype episode for him. But it's easy to serve me, right? Because, I mean, it's not easy, but it's easier to serve me than it is to serve somebody you don't get along with at work.
It's much easier to do nice things without expecting something in return for those you love around you instead of maybe a stranger, when God calls us to love everyone that way. So the same way I would do some act of service for Alyssa, I'm called to do the same level of acts of service to people I don't know.
Yeah, those acts of service definitely look different because of the level of relationship. But
Yeah.
like, you're called to love your neighbor as yourself, and that's what the second greatest commandment, or is the first greatest commandment?
It's
First
kind of one and the
is
same.
love God.
Love God.
Second is love others. And we love others with agape love through serving them and through, not to be dramatic, but through dying for them. And, like, oh my God, is that hard? Like, somebody rubs me the wrong way one time and I'm done. You know what I mean? Like, I'm being dramatic, but, like, kind of isn't that the case?
For a lot of people, myself included, yourself included,
Yeah.
probably everyone listening included.
When somebody, what do the kids say today? Gives you the ick. When somebody gives you the ick, Sam's already laughing at me. Or starts poking on your pet peeves. Is that a saying?
Sure.
Poking on your pet peeves.
Sure.
Pushing your buttons, you know?
Pushing your buttons.
Sometimes there's just people in this world that you rub against abrasively. And you just don't get along. Those are the people that you were called to serve. Like Christ served us all through dying on the cross. Like, I have a hard time comprehending that. And the amount of selfless love that those actions take. Because it's not just holding the door for people, it's showing up for them when they're sick and hurting. Or what else? I can't even think of anything else.
I think from a comprehension standpoint, it's not even that hard. From a putting it into reality and actually living that way, that's where we realize, wow, we're trying to emulate living like Christ, but we are far from it, which is why sanctification is a process. And it's something that takes work and faith and effort. And there's always more opportunities to improve.
And practice.
There are always opportunities to practice love for those who may not be deserving in your eyes, whereas they are deserving in God's.
Yeah, and I think the beautiful thing about what Jesus did for all of us is that not a single person deserved it. None of us deserved it. Not the most righteous person, besides Christ himself, to have walked this earth, deserved what he did for us on the cross. Well, we can't earn it. That's the beauty of it and the grace of it, of salvation. Man, guys, maybe I don't have energy if I'm starting to slur my words on this on this weeknight.
The act of service that I did recently was cook this giant lasagna. So Alyssa's in food coma.
I am in food coma. That's a good bring up. This is part of why we wanted to talk about service on this episode, is because Sam's been serving me like
the best lasagna that she's ever had.
More than just this lasagna. Like, let me just recap the past few weeks. I travel a lot for work, and it absolutely kills me. Like, I used to travel fine, but like not the older I get, because I'm still really young, but now that this is like year 6 of me doing this same thing, and like it seems that each year we travel more and more. Like, I only took 1 flight in my 4 years at Bryant.
You also have a lot more responsibility during these flights now, so it's not so much a travel day, it's a full work day while traveling.
This was my 5th weekend since the first weekend of September, flying somewhere for the whole weekend. Like, it's exhausting. And next weekend we're driving almost 6 hours down to New Jersey. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is that I have not been myself, and I have not been giving... Like, Sam and I always try to give 50-50, right? Like, I'm giving you 50, you're giving me 50, so that we equal 100. But I have not been giving 50, I've been giving, like, 20. And that's generous to say. And the beauty of being in a relationship that like reflects Christ's love, and when you have a partner who reflects Christ's love to you, is that when you're only able to give 20, they step up and give 80. And like and like Sam doesn't just give 80, he says, "Oh, you can only give 20 right now? Give 10, I'll give 90." And I'm getting like emotional. I was gone the other weekend and I came back and our living space was the cleanest it's literally ever been. And it's not that it's dirty or like gross or whatever, but like you went above and beyond and you didn't just like tidy up surface level things. You went and did stuff that like no, I thought only I knew needed to be done. Like, because it's usually something I've been doing like since we've lived here. And yesterday I was having a really rough day. It was just a long day after a long day, and not a lot of sleep happening when you wake up at 4 a.m. to get on the road and, you know, all that fun stuff, and then you're working until like 10 at night. And instead of me checking my phone and seeing like just whatever, I see a text from Sam that's like, "Oh, I just thought of the best idea of this meal I'm going to prep for you so you'll have food all week." And then he spent his whole night tidying the apartment and cooking me a meal so that I won't have to worry about prepping myself lunch at work when I come back. Like, and I'm not even talking about like all the ways you've served me in the past week and a half, like literally just thinking recently, because there's more, but that's agape. That's service. And I'm getting emotional about this, but like you're not supposed to do that, but like I'm your life partner, right?
Yep, I would agree.
How are we supposed to do that for people that we don't get along with? Like, I'm getting emotional at how you've been treating me, but like, you love me. When you think about doing things for me, you're not like, ugh, I can't stand this girl, but I'll do this for her anyway. You know what I mean? Like,
true, that's not what's going through my head when I am doing this.
But for, not to be dramatic, but like your worst enemy, that's how you're called to love them. If you want to live like Christ. And I don't even feel like I'm showing up that way for my own partner. And we're supposed to show up like that for everybody. Maybe not to that extent. I don't know. Maybe to that extent.
Making lasagnas for everyone. Honestly, I think I could do that. Because I have a good time cooking, and I think people would enjoy the lasagna.
You do have a good time cooking. And you make great lasagna. Sam's really proud of himself about this lasagna, guys.
I am. This is the first one I've made, and it came out perfect. So I'm very happy, and I will proudly hype up this lasagna.
Yeah. I think that's the first tear I've shed on the podcast. Thinking about how much you've been doing. And again, that's what inspired this episode. So, I don't know, do you have anything to say?
Gotta love a good Sam hype up episode. She's boosted my ego. Yeah, and my lasagna ego.
He's been needing a hype up episode. Sometimes we're mean to Sam on the podcast, but that's okay. My sisters are mean to you too, but not on the podcast.
They're mean out of love. It's okay.
It's like when you're getting bullied in like 3rd grade and your mom's like, "It's just because they like you." That's funny. I don't know if we shared this verse last episode when we were talking about supernatural, and then in season math where we were talking about spiritual gifts, but all this has kind of been on like the same theme, I guess. So I want to share 1 Peter 4:10 through 11. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. Do not be slothful in zeal, be fervent in spirit, serve the Lord. There are ways to make service easier. We talked about putting square pegs in round holes in our episode about spiritual gifts. And then spiritual gifts are supernatural. Yeah? Like, some of them are anyway.
Yeah. Well, when you think all gifts are coming from God and God being above nature, then yeah, all gifts are supernatural.
Yeah. And so my point of this is that use those spiritual gifts that you have, your talents, to serve. Sam is a phenomenal chef. And he serves me through cooking when he knows that I'm personally cooked. For the non-Gen Zers in the room, that means... Does it mean tired?
Yeah.
I think in the context
Exhausted.
I used it, I meant tired. You can either be cooked or let him cook. That means, like... I don't even know what that means. But I say it. Oh. Any thoughts there, Samuel?
Let him cook is what you say when I say that I'm ready to prep dinner.
Yeah, let him cook. Yeah, I need him to cook because I'm quite bad at it. But yeah, I've been crying a lot lately because Sam's been serving me like insane amounts. So
Imagine doing everything you can to keep her happy and she's still crying. Like, it's ridiculous.
you can't win here. I'm crying no matter what. If you do nothing, I cry. If you do everything, I cry. If you do the bare minimum, I cry. Like, I'm crying no matter what in these scenarios. But these are happy tears. And they're also tears because, like, I want to do the same for you, but I know that this is just a season of life, to use some Christian terminology, where I know I have less to give because I'm giving so much to something else right now, and that this will slow down and I will be able to give more. And there's going to be more times in life where I'm giving 90 and you're giving 10, and that's just the beauty of a partnership, is that you're just going to equal 100 no matter what. So, I'm clawing my way back up to 50 slowly, though.
There were plenty of times where you were far above 50 and I was far below 50. So, as you said, there are seasons for everything. So, being grateful in the periods where you're unable to give that 50, and being gracious in the periods where you're able to give more than 50. And it doesn't matter who's giving what. What matters is that it equals 100 and that you're on the same page.
Yeah, and that's kind of a whole other topic it's conjoined with service, but that's definitely in the context of, like, marriage. So, did we topic shift?
Topic shift? Is this part 1 to a 2-part episode?
Oh god, don't make me do a 2-part episode. No, I think we were going to talk about service in general, and then I got emotional about how you've been serving me, and then it became a marriage thing. I think that's what happened here. But that's okay, because I kind of like where we've landed. And we'll just change the title. Alright.
Works for me.
Are we wrapping it up?
Serving Pasta, episode title.
Oh gosh, we called the last one Pasta Bowls, though. Serving lasagna? Okay, we're getting way beyond off topic, so I'm gonna just end it here. What do you think?
Mic drop.
Mic drop it. I don't even know if you can call it a mic drop moment, but we thank you so much for spending your past 20 minutes with Two Trees in a Pod. We hope you have a great Tuesday, a great rest of your week, and stay blessed. See you next time.